Saturday, November 8, 2025, AGNDD intelliReport topic: 109-year-old messages in a bottle. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this entirely AI-generated article-based video. 109-year-old messages in a bottle, written by soldiers heading to fight in World War I, discovered on Australian beach. The two letters survived the past century inside a Schweppes brand bottle, which Deborah Brown found on Wharton Beach in early October. Sarah Kuta, Daily Correspondent, November 6, 2025, Smithsonian Magazine, www.smithsonianmag.com/smart-news/. On August 15, 1916, Australian soldier Malcolm Alexander Neville dashed off a two-page letter to his mother as he sailed aboard a troop ship headed to Europe to fight in World War I. "Having a real good time, food is real good so far, with the exception of one meal which we buried at sea," he wrote. When he finished, Neville rolled up the note, tucked it carefully into a bottle, and tossed the glass vessel overboard. Now, more than a century later, Neville's message in a bottle has turned up on a beach in Australia. Deborah Brown found the Schweppes brand bottle on October 9th while picking up trash on Wharton Beach, located along the southern coast of the state of Western Australia, about 500 miles from Perth. She was with her husband, Peter, and her daughter, Felicity, reports Rod McGurk for the Associated Press. Brown, who lives in the nearby town of Esperance, thinks the bottle was likely buried in the beach's dunes and only recently became exposed because of severe winter storms. "It's so well preserved," she tells the Australian Associated Press. "If it had lived in the ocean for 109 years, it would have sunk to the bottom. The cork would have disintegrated." She could tell the bottle had some sort of message inside, but she wasn't optimistic she'd be able to read it. Still, Brown removed the cork and set the vessel on a windowsill in hopes of drying out some of the water that had pooled inside. Eventually, she used surgical tweezers to gently free Neville's penciled missive. He had signed the note, "Your loving son Malcolm, somewhere at sea," and had asked the person finding this bottle to send it to his mother, Robertina Neville, in Wilkewat, South Australia. Brown began scouring the internet for information about Neville, who was killed in action in France in April 1917 at the age of 28 while serving in the 48th Australian Infantry Battalion. She also tried to find any surviving relatives and ended up tracking down his great-nephew, Herbie Neville, who lives in Alice Springs in Australia's Northern Territory. She called the workplace listed on Herbie Neville's Facebook page, and he got back to her a few days later, per the Australian Broadcasting Corporation's Katrina Tapp and Sally Sarah. Since then, all of his cousins and sisters and everyone have been in touch with me, and they're very excited about the whole find, Brown tells the Australian Associated Press. But the bottle wasn't done giving up its secrets. Inside, Brown also found another note written by a different soldier, 37-year-old William Kirk Harley. His mother had already died by the time he went off to war, so he instructed the finder to keep the letter. Harley was wounded twice in battle but ultimately survived, returning home to Australia. He died of cancer in 1934. Brown was able to locate Harley's granddaughter, Ann Turner, and send her the letter. Turner is one of Harley's 5 living grandchildren. "We do very much feel like our grandfather has reached out to us from the grave," Turner tells the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Both men had been sailing aboard the troop ship HMAT 70 Ballarat when they wrote their letters. The vessel left Adelaide on August 12, 1916, for a 6-week sailing to reinforce troops on Europe's Western Front. Several other World War I-era bottles with letters inside have turned up along the coastline between Adelaide and Perth. Bored and looking for ways to pass the time, soldiers often kept themselves busy by writing letters and diaries at sea, according to Bryce Abraham, a curator at the Australian War Memorial. Though Neville and Harley sounded upbeat in their notes, Australian soldiers were also likely terrified of the dangers ahead of them. They knew it wasn't going to be a great adventure like had been portrayed at the outbreak of the war, Abraham tells the Australian Associated Press. Sarah Kuda is a writer and editor based in Longmont, Colorado. She covers history, science, travel, food and beverage, sustainability, economics, and other topics. You might also like World War II couples' love letters found beneath British hotels' floorboards. March 12, 2021. A little girl dropped a message in a bottle into a lake. Her daughter's classmate found it 26 years later, November 22, 2024. Read the 132-year-old message in a bottle found hidden inside the walls of a Scottish lighthouse, November 26, 2024. Civil War weapons recovered from South Carolina's Congaree River, November 22, 2023. Searchers find World War II ship that sank with more than 1,000 Allied POWs aboard, April 26, 2023.
Thank you for watching this AGNDD intelliReport, dear viewers. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified during new uploads. And make sure to tune in next time. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers!